In this video, I'm going to talk about how I think Sadiq Khan is controlling his media image. It may be a bit difficult to think that he has a media image. I mean, the man's policies seem so catastrophic, but I guess I'm talking about why hasn't there been a moment on TV when he's been grilled, say, really harshly by someone like Andrew Neil? You know, with Sadiq Khan's record, you would expect him somewhere to be put in the hot seats and for it to have gone really viral. But if you think about it, it hasn't really happened. And what I've noticed personally, and feel free in the comments to tell me if you think otherwise, is that Sadiq Khan, he tends to do, I would say, three types of media coverage. And he's got BBC London. So he goes on that a lot. You know, they're always looking for London updates. He's got the Evening Standard. There's someone called Ross Liddell there who just follows Sadiq Khan around. And the other sort of area where he gets media coverage is just his own X feed and social media presence. So he gets to totally control that narrative. But the place that I think has been less spotted in terms of him protecting his image, or rather controlling questions that are put to him perhaps, or things he wants to talk about, because just to add, Sadiq Khan is a censorious man. One example is that he once ejected a woman called Angie who wanted to talk to him about anti-traffic measures. I think it was ULEZ. He once ejected her out of a conference. And this kind of plays into what I'm going to talk about. You know, he didn't like that. It took him by surprise. And you wasn't meant to ask him that question that a lot of Londoners were thinking about. So does he have other ways to make sure that kind of incident can't happen again? Well, I think that might be the case with Global. And you may know I've covered Global a few times in my videos. It is the media company that produces shows such as LBC, and that's the radio station that Sadiq Khan is on rather a lot. And not just with anyone, he is often on with James O'Brien. James O'Brien chairs Sadiq Khan's events. There's one called the State of London debate. So this is where Londoners are meant to turn up and get their questions asked, and it's meant to be sort of a Londoners' question time, or just, you know, totally free reign for them to ask their questions. So Sadiq Khan does that with James O'Brien guiding the questions, and they also have a show together called Speak to Sadiq, so people can ring in, and this show has been going on for years. But what's my problem with this? Well, I think there's a conflict of interest, and you may have seen I did a past video on this, the fact that TfL has a contract with Global for advertising, and I'll break down why this matters in terms of Sadiq Khan. So Global, to reiterate, the organisation that James O'Brien works for, that runs LBC and lots of other shows, lots of radio shows, is the sole provider of advertising on the tube. When you get onto the tube and you look at all the adverts around, they say Global on the top, and that's because Global, forgive me if I'm making this really spelling it out, but they run the tube advertising. And who controls the tube? Well, the self-appointed chair of Transport for London is Sadiq Khan. Okay, so he has the contract technically via TfL with Global. And Global produces, to reiterate, LBC. Global also has most of the bus adverts in London, most outdoor advertising spaces. There are a few other providers, but it's no secret Global has this all over their websites, that they provide a lot of advertising, not just in London, but outdoor advertising all over the country. So why is this a conflict of interest? Well, Global has a commercial partnership with the mayor through TfL. You know, if they have this commercial partnership in terms of running all the adverts on the tube, and Sadiq Khan can control that and say, he can ultimately, you know, veto adverts on the tube. then how can they be interviewing him? You know, they've got a commercial relationship. But I think overall that what's happening as well is the mayor is avoiding proper scrutiny by going on LBC and doing these State of London debate events and the Speak to Sadiq. I think the biggest thing is you just don't see him get put on the spot at all. And we know what happens if you do put him on the spot. If you're an ordinary person, say who Angie was, you will get ejected. So Sadiq Khan is evading proper scrutiny. He gets to look good. He gets to say his stupid soundbite. It's like diversity is our strength. And no one says, what does that mean? Can you explain that? Can you get some stats out? No one does an Andrew Neil on him because he's got this this partnership. I don't see how you could have a commercial partnership with the organisation that's expected to interrogate you at the State of London debate events. I just don't see how that works.